Hello, guys, and welcome in to our first press conference review show for Niner FIFA Radio. I'm your host, Jaymie, and I want to say hi to everybody in the comments and everything like that. So before we get started, just let you know a couple things right off the bat. What the show is going to be going through some tidbits from the press conferences throughout the week. And we're going to be talking, I'm going to be talking about them, breaking them down a little bit and going through that. And then we're just going to keep going as we keep going. So, just to let you guys know about that, and see if you guys like this. If you guys have any comments, feel free to leave them in the comments and I will read them out as we go as well. And so, before we start, I have two real quick press ad reads to go through, and then we'll get started.
Today's episode is sponsored by Power Brand Systems. Need help getting new customers for your business? Let Power Brand Systems help you grow with their powerful tools. Visit powerbrandsystems.com/Niner Faithful Radio for more info. If you like our content and would like to support the show, consider leaving us a tip in our tip jar at NinerFaithfulRadio.us/tip jar. Join our exclusive membership community where you get exclusive NFR content not available anywhere else. Join our exclusive chat, 20% off of all non-sale For the Faithful by the Faithful gear, and much more. Visit portal.ninerfaithfulradio.us/login to join.
For the Faithful by the Faithful Season 4 apparel is finally here. To see this year's designs and also save 20% off of Season 1 through 3 designs, go to NinerFaithfulRadio.com/shop.
What's up, y'all? It's your boy Niner Faithful, inviting you to check out our game day shows. I'll get you ready for the game with our pregame show. Jason gives you his thoughts on the first half with our halftime show, and Jaymie will wrap things up with our postgame show. Follow us on social media at Niner Faithful Radio on Facebook, Instagram, Tumblr, and TikTok, and at Niner Faithful R on X.
Alrighty, guys. So that is that. Let me do this. That's a little bit better. All right. So first things first, I haven't been on a little bit. I've been kind of busy. So first off, I want to give a brief thing about Ricky Pearsall and the whole situation of him getting shot. And that's one of the audios that we're going to be playing in just a few minutes. And so it is quite an insane story that happened to him. I'm very glad that he is okay and that everything that he somehow by some miracle he's all right, because that is an insane injury. Hey, Jason, that happened to him. It is seriously quite the feat that he ended up being okay and that it was not much more serious, which is, I think, kind of insane. I don't think we have Kyle's thoughts on it really, but we do have but he did say, and I think it was on Thursday or Friday, that Kyle had a few things about it, and it's just quite crazy. I'm very glad he's okay, and that, hopefully he recovers well. It's quite shocking that he's back with the team, but I guess that's what he wants to do. Kind of makes sense. So, he is on the NFI list, so he will not be in the first, I think, 4 or 5 games of the season. So we'll have to remember that. But yeah. So for our first little clip, we have this is John Lynch on Ricky Pearsall.
Ball injury. It's similar to PUP, but it just happened away from the field. So we had to act quickly with that decision. I wish we had some more time to make it, but ultimately we felt the number one thing we had to be concerned with was Ricky's well-being, physically, emotionally, mentally, and ultimately decided that the best thing for Ricky was to have a little bit of time, and he's going to need that time physically. He's going to need that time emotionally, mentally, and we made that decision. And when we drafted Ricky, we did it for the long term. And Ricky's going to be a fantastic player here. He's eager. He was disappointed, but understood that we put him on that list and what that entails. It's 4 weeks at least, and we're just going to take this as it comes. First of all, we did put Ricky on NFI, non-football injury. It's similar to PUP, but it just happened away from the field. So we had to act quickly with that decision. I wish we had some more time to make it, but
Okay. So that is John Lynch's thoughts. So he is on the NFI list. So like I said, it's just kind of a miracle. But I think that one of the things, and I'm glad that the team has kind of said this, is that they're taking, even though physically it was not as serious as it could have been, they are taking them because this is going to take some kind of mental toll on him because it's a pretty traumatic situation that happened. And that they're being very upfront about that and are looking out for him in that way. John did say that they had to be quick on making a decision. I think they made the right decision. I would have been very shocked if he would have played week 1, just because I don't even think he would physically be healed enough to withstand playing a full game. So we'll have to wait to see how that goes. But yeah, that is John Lynch's plan for him moving forward. I think just making sure he recovers and is, taken care of and has all the resources he needs is extremely important. Okay. If you have any comments on that, please let me know. We're going to move on to the next one. We have Kyle Shanahan's final injury report.
All right, guys. Injuries for Monday. E-Tour will be out. D. Winters will be out. Huff is doubtful. Aaron Banks questionable. Christian questionable. All right, guys.
All right. So if I could pull that up on my Twitter so that I can read that a little bit better. I think the big thing is the Christian McCaffrey calf Achilles injury. That is still something that is nagging him, which is unfortunate. So we'll have to see. He is questionable. One of the beat writers did ask later in the press conference today if it's a game time decision. Kyle really didn't elaborate. He just said he's questionable. So we don't know. So to re-clarify, DN Utergross Maters knee is out. Linebacker D. Winters ankle is out. Doubtful is safety Talanoga Hufanga knee. Questionable Christian McCaffrey calf Achilles, and guard Aaron Banks of his finger. I don't think there's too many surprises. It would be awesome to see Huff out there, but overall, I just don't think that is. He might be able to do it, but he is coming back from his ACL injury last season, so probably not to overdo it too much right away. So, yeah, we'll go from there. That's that on that. Here we go. Kyle names backup quarterback.
Yeah, I told Brandon Allen, and Brandon will be the 2. Josh will be the 3 right now. Yeah, I told Brandon Allen, and Brandon will be.
All right. So that is Kyle officially reporting that Brandon Allen won the backup job to Brock Purdy. He will be the 2. Josh Dobbs will be the number 3. Josh Dobbs did come out. There's been reports of him coming out saying that he thought he earned enough to be number 2. I think Josh Dobbs is a more exciting player to watch. He's a little bit more entertaining. But Kyle does go on to say on the next clip that I'll play right now, we'll go in a little bit more detail.
You got to make a decision. I thought it was hard to win. Usually I don't want to have to make it. Usually I want it to be that obvious and just let it play out. But it was, Brandon had the head start just being here and stuff. Thought he did some better things in practice. I thought Josh really closed the gap in the games. And honestly, would have loved to have another week with him to have to decide. But you got to definitely list it one way since The third one only comes in case of emergency. Brandon has a little more similarities to Brock and stuff, which I think made us lean that way, but it wasn't anything against Josh. It was really a tough decision, and we just had to make one.
Right. So I think that kind of explains it. I think Brandon Allen's game is similar to Brock Purdy's a little bit. So I think that is what I think overall was kind of one of the deciding factors in why Kyle picked Brandon Allen, which makes sense. And so, I mean, I think they're both solid backups, haven't seen too much of either one of them. I know Josh Dobbs has probably a little bit more experience playing in different systems as well, and Josh Dobbs is new to the Kyle Shanahan system, so that is probably something that they have to work on. But overall, I think it makes a lot of sense. I think that the fact that it was close, that Josh Dobbs' actual game tape was decent enough to bridge the gap in between him and Allen, but I think Allen did some things in practice that, like Kyle obviously said that he liked, and that Allen has been here a little bit longer, so overall nothing too surprising. Hopefully that, I know Dobbs has come out, so he's a little bit upset that he earned it, but it is what it is. It's not a reflection on anybody. So, all right. Move on to the next one. Kyle Shanahan names captains.
Yeah, we got 8 of them this year. Bosa, Warner, Juice, Kittle, McCaffrey, Purdy, Debo, and Trent. Yeah, we got 8 of them this year. Bosa, Warner, Juice, Kittle, McCaffrey, Purdy, Debo, and Trent. Yeah, we got 8 of them this year.
All right, so that's your starting captains for this year. I think makes a lot of sense. A lot of veteran guys. Purdy's probably honestly like the youngest. And so I think it's pretty cool. It is nice to have a quarterback who is considered a captain. I think Purdy's shown that in his press conferences and stuff like that. Very mature for his age. Has a lot of leadership qualities, I feel like. So nothing too surprising. A lot of these guys have been captains before. McCaffrey and Juice getting the nod to be captains, I think is great. And so, yeah, I think it's a good set, and I think they'll be good. Nothing too much to say on that one, but I think makes a lot of sense. All right. Here's Sorensen on playing against Aaron Rodgers as their defensive coordinator.
I would assume he's back to where he is, feeling great, and his arm is his arm as long as he can move, which I would think that he can, and he's put himself in that position. He's been getting a lot of reps at practice. I think he's been ready. I mean, he came back so fast at that point last year, I think, from that injury. So I think we're going to see his best. I would assume he's back to where he is.
All right. So that is him talking about playing against Aaron Rodgers, since we play him on Monday nights. He did say something else interesting right before that. I did listen to the rest of that press conference, especially his part. I think it will be an interesting test for the team because we haven't really seen Aaron very much in that offensive system. It is similar to our system, but I think it's going to be very interesting to see how that translates, see how Rodgers is, see if there's any rust against playing him. But he did say that there wasn't very much tape. I'm assuming, I don't know how much of his time in Green Bay they watched, but I'm assuming if they watched any, they watched with his Matt LaFleur time with him because that is probably the closest to that system. So, yeah, keep going on. Sorensen on starting 3 corners. We'll go on this.
Well, how we've been going has been how it started out, was with Ike and Demo and Mooney. Well, how we've been going has been how it started out, was with Ike and Demo and Mooney.
Okay, so he has that on starting 3 corners. We normally don't do that too much, but I think this is an interesting little tactic. I think this guy, Sorensen, has interesting well, it's going to be interesting to watch to see how his little wrinkles play into the game. So, makes sense for Mooney and Devo to be out there and throwing in a third one when we're in nickel and all that stuff, and then starting all three if they wanted to. Should be a lot. Very interesting. All right. So now we're going to go on to Forrester on Trent Williams.
Trent is Trent. So he continues to be Trent. He gets out there, and I think, as always, I think we've talked about before, and getting guys ready to play. There's that push and pull of being full speed against somebody shoving on you, and that yesterday got him a little bit. But today he seemed much better, and tomorrow he'll continue to push himself, and we'll see how it goes. Trent is Trent.
Yep. So I think that makes a lot of sense too. Trent Williams is a player who I feel like. Yes, I think any player benefits from practice, but I do think there are some players you can rely on to get some practice at home and not have to do as much. But I do think there will be a little bit of him building up to game shape. That's what I'm most worried about, honestly. It's just the and this with Ayuk later on that we'll talk about in just a minute is just building up to game day shape. Stamina, all of that stuff is just building up to that and working on that and getting ready for the game. So I think that will be the biggest hurdle and stuff, which hopefully won't be too much. And then here's Forrester on CMC.
He would look good. He looks like Christian to me. I mean, same thing. Everybody, if you don't practice, you need to practice. And so the guys that haven't practiced, I don't want to say there's rust, but there's always a little something that goes on just because they haven't been doing it every day. There's just that grind of every day, day after day. After you've missed a couple, there's always something. But he's look good. He would look good. He looks like Christian to me. I mean,
all right. And so that's him on CMC, with CMC not practicing that much due to his calf Achilles injury. I think with Williams, CMC, and Ayuk, there's going to be a little bit of rest, getting back into it, building up again. Because like you said, when you miss a couple days, you can kind of lose it. And this is something that you got to just keep going every day to keep that rapport going. And I think that's going to be the biggest hurdle for any of these guys. So we'll have to see how that goes. But I am a little bit concerned about the injury, especially now that he's on the questionable list, but we'll have to see. All right. So before we go on to the Brandon Ayuk stuff, we have a couple of clips from Brandon. We're going to play two more quick ad reads, and then we'll be right back.
This segment is brought to you by Shop49ers.com, the official online store of the 49ers. Use our affiliate link in the description to get the latest official Niner gear, save 10%, as well as help out this show. This segment is brought to you by SeatGiant.com. Use the promo code NinerFaithfulRadio at SeatGiant.com to save on all your theater, concert, and sporting event tickets, as well as help out this show.
Alrighty, that's the last two for that. All right, now we'll get into some Brandon Ayuk stuff.
I don't think there was times where I had to kind of, get my mind right for that being a possibility. Yeah. I don't think there was times where.
So that is in regards to his contract, all of that stuff. I think that whole situation was crazy, so it's not too insane to think that he just needed to, it could have gone either way. I'm sure it was close either way. And the fact that the final contract he ended up signing was there on the table for a while. So, I mean, it was a whole thing. So I'm sure that it was a little bit crazy for him too, because he really didn't know. He obviously had spots he wanted to go. There's probably part of him. There's obviously part of him that wanted to stay at the Niners, and that's what he ended up doing. But there's stuff like that. And then here's another one on who he talked to during that time.
Yeah, I talked to George. I talked to Bosa a lot. I talked to Debo a lot. Just trying to figure out certain things, get their feel for certain things. and just being able to talk with them through the process was huge. But also just being able to see them, be around them every single day for now, just inserting myself right back in. Yeah, I was talking.
Now, this one makes a lot of sense because he obviously talked to the guys who have gotten second contracts from the Niners, probably getting information on how to navigate that whole situation, and stuff like that. So, like he said, talk to Bosa, talk to George, talk to Debo, people who have gotten contracts from the Niners again afterwards. So that obviously makes a lot of sense. Probably wanting to know what to expect, how to, get some of his own information, and stuff like that. All right, here's Brendan Ayuk on his readiness to play.
Ready to go. Ready to go.
Okay. So obviously, I do feel like there has been talk about that he has been doing some training outside the Niners facility. So I think he has been out there trying to get ready, and I do know that he did work with Purdy after he came back. So I do think he's just wanting to play. Makes a lot of sense. Here's Brendan Ayuk on being a squeaky wheel.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, a squeaky wheel. That has to be silent sometimes. Know when to squeak. Just that whole balance. But yeah, a little bit. Yeah, a squeaky wheel.
So I believe this is in regards to him. So some leaks that came out during the whole contract fiasco, and so getting information and for that, like I said, balance. You got to know when to play your cards and when not to play your cards, and I think that's something that he had to learn when he was dealing with this whole thing, and whatnot. So that makes a lot of sense. And here's Brendan Ayuk on what he wanted.
I think I just had a feel for what I wanted, not just in terms of money, but in all those teams that you said. And ultimately, I wanted to be here, and I ended up being here. So I'm happy. I'm good. I'm happy. I'm ready to go. I think I.
Alrighty. So it makes sense. There's definitely the money aspect, but I do think he did still want to be a Niner, and I think he kind of confirmed that, and that's why he ended up signing and staying. So it makes a lot of sense. Ended up working out, and it's all good. All right, and then last one for Brendan Ayuk on Holden.
It was tough. That was probably the hardest part about the whole thing, just because at that point, you got the rest of the team involved. I'm here every single day. They're suiting up, getting ready to go out to practice, and I'm not. So that was the hard part. But on that same tone, I was able to be in meetings, be able to go through all the stuff that they got to go through, and kind of still be involved. Get used to being here in the morning, be used to being here all day, having the treatment, having everything I need. So it was a little awkward, but I think it worked out how it needed to. It was tough. That was probably the hardest part about the whole thing.
Hi, Miss Teresa. Good to see you. And so that was Brandon Ayuk on the Holden. I agree that was probably a little bit awkward. Makes a lot of sense because he was only there for the meetings and for all that behind the scenes stuff that we don't really get to see very much, and then he had to not be there for actual practice. So I think that is interesting. But like you said, it worked out. Everybody's signed. Everybody's happy. So all good to go. Then we have a couple with Trent. Here we go. Trent on what he wanted. Here we go. Trent Williams.
Just security. Obviously, it's a volatile league. And a guy my stature, my age, I thought security was important. And that was all. Just security.
That makes a lot of sense too. he just wanted to make sure he had some security and he had a good, set on how he was going to be and all that stuff. And then he ended up getting more guaranteed money, which is what he wanted, that we know that he wanted. So, all worked out for the best. And yeah. But yeah, with his age and with football players being that old, you gotta learn how to deal with all that. All right, and here's Trent on whether he was going to retire.
No. I probably this off season to me has been very, very productive. Obviously not in the football sense, but in the getting ready for football sense, like my training. Just at age 36, just finding different ways to try to continue to get 1% better. And I think this off season, I had a really good off season. Me and my trainer James Cooper, we kind of locked in really early. Kind of changed a little bit of stuff about, little things about my life that I think I would have to weed out going forward anyway, being an older guy. So, I felt really good coming off this off season. No, I probably.
All right. So I think that is definitely some good news. I know there was a comment where he wanted to keep playing until he was 40. I think this kind of, as an older guy, you kind of have to adapt and learn how to keep playing as you get older, since this is a very tough sport to play. And yeah, it sounds like his off season went very well. All right, got 2 comments. Let's see. Got some comments from Rick here before we move on. Yeah, we got Monday Night Football, first game of the season. We are ready. Yep, they're ready. Let's go Niners. For sure, Rick. Awesome comments. Awesome. All right. And then we got one from Boza.
We were texting a little bit, and I said, whenever you show up, I'll give you some live reps, but I don't think he needs it. Our scout team guys will give him good looks. I think we'll get a couple reps today, full speed against the ones, but if anybody could come back and play like they never left, it's him. We were texting a little bit.
I think that is obviously very good news. Trent and Boza obviously are best on our lines, so that's good. And yeah, I mean, I think that's just everybody has a lot of confidence in Trent and him being able to come back and just get started, which I do agree with. I think he has the talent to do it. I do think there's going to be that little bit of getting acclimated to playing in actual football games. So yeah, should be good. I think that was good though. All right. We do have a couple from Brock Purdy. So here's the first one on the similarity between the with the Jets and our defense, since they run very similar.
I would say pretty similar. You can just tell their mindset of playing fast and physical, just like our guys. They fly around, and you can just tell like it branches back to from when Saleh was here. And so obviously the scheme as well, just how they run their defense and stuff, very similar. But obviously we got to be ready for just any other kind of different looks and stuff. And going into it, they know that we're familiar with their defense and stuff, but we just got to be ready for anything else that they can throw our way. So, but I'm excited just in the fact that I've gone against this defense for a while. All of our guys have, but they're different players. So we haven't gone up against their guys yet. So that's the challenge. Yeah, I would say pretty similar.
I think that is a really, really cool motion from Purdy that he recognizes that it will be very similar. I think that's great. Sorry, my cat is in the way. And makes a lot of sense. I do like that he recognizes that while the scheme is different, the scheme is similar. The players are different, so that will have some differences with it and stuff. And yeah, I mean, sounds like he's excited to play. I think this will be interesting. I think this is either going to go in the Niners' favor a lot, or it's going to not be. So I think this will be interesting, but he's very excited about it. Here's Purdy on missing BA and Trent.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like we've all, had so many game reps and just experience together that we understand just from watching our film, and then obviously being back together with the time that we've had so far. We all understand like how we move, how we operate, and how we need to play within this system and with each other. So, Trent was gone for a little bit, obviously, but when he's come back in, it feels good. It feels natural again back in the huddle, and when I'm dropping back with him there, and same with BA and his routes thrown to him for the last week or so. It all just feels pretty normal. But, I mean, I could say all that now when the bullets are flying, like we're going to find out, So, and then obviously same with Christian too and his reps and stuff. So it goes for everybody. But, we're all going to have to adjust and adapt on the fly. That's just how it is with live bullets and the live action and games. So, like I said, we'll find out. Yeah.
Yep. This makes a lot of sense. Obviously, probably would have liked to have BA and Trent back earlier, but he's glad that they're both back. Like I said earlier, Purdy did work with BA, I think last weekend, on getting reacclimated, and he said that helped him a lot. So I think that was very good as well. And Purdy's just probably glad that Trent is back, so that hopefully the O-line will play a lot better and keep him upright through the season. So, yeah. And then our last little bit of news is Kittle on all 11 starters returning. So here's some George Kittle.
I mean, it's just like when you're not starting from scratch, you're not having to teach a bunch of like new guys, new plays, or like we're not having to teach new free agents like, hey, this is your landmark, you need to get these steps. And Coach Shanahan's office is very like particular, the amount of rules that are in everything. Like every single play tells every single person what to do, whether it's like I said, your landmarks, your steps, whatever it is. And when you've been in the system for a couple years, it makes it a lot easier. And so just I think we're going to be able to start like doing all the plays that we were doing later in the season last year and just start with those off the rip and not just have to work with those. And then now Kyle will get a little bit more creative with those as well too.
I think that is an excellent point as well. Whenever you can just have people who are familiar, who know what they're doing right off the bat, probably makes it a lot easier and a lot easier to just get caught up and keep moving forward. So I think that is very, very good for Kittle. Makes a lot of sense. And yeah, because like especially with Kyle's system, with it being so complex as it is, it's probably very overwhelming for a new person to come in and try to learn everything. So like when you have somebody, that's why I think Josh Dobbs, there's reports early in OTAs and training camp and stuff that he was struggling a little bit. So yeah, give me 1 second. Okay. So I mean, makes a lot of sense with how complex Kyle's system is and everything, that there's a lot of nuance that has to go into it. And so I think that is also something great with not having to stress too much about teaching a lot of new people all at once, everything. So yeah. So that's all the clips that I have for today, guys. Yeah. Anybody have any comments or anything like that? I am very glad that Ricky Pearsall is okay. Can't wait to see him when he does end up playing his first game. It'll be very exciting. That dude is extremely tough and is so incredibly, it's a miracle that he's as okay as he is right now. So yeah. Anybody else have anything that they'd like to say before let you guys all go for the evening? And we will see you guys on Monday night for the first game of the season, which should be very exciting. Very excited to see this team. I hope it comes out and they do well. It should be a fun game regardless, and whatnot. So, yeah. Alrighty, guys. Well, have a great rest of your evening. And as always, go Niners.